Okay, so lots of questions around the reading of Gurbani, the daily practice, the restrictions that it feels religion has, and surely it's just better to be in a space of loving kindness, awe of the universe. What is the need to be reading specific words? The most important thing that I take from this question is the distinction being made between reading Gurbani and being in awe, being in a state of wonderment, being in a state of love. When you understand the meaning of the words, when you are able to connect with the emotion of awe and wonderment with those words, when you're able to bridge that gap, then reading the Gurbani and being in awe do not become two separate things. Being in a state of wonderment, going out for a walk in nature and just breathing in that air where you're able to feel the presence of the universe, you're able to feel the wonderment that you have just towards nature, that becomes the same as reading Gurbani. So it's not a question of either or. It now becomes a question of, give me any technique where I may be able to go back into that state of wonderment. Sometimes just reading Gurbani alone is enough. You don't need any other stimulation. You don't need anything else to make you go back into that state. Sometimes you may not feel like reading the Bani, but you may feel like being in your own self. Sometimes you may not feel like that is working and you may go out into nature. So the destination is more important than the entry point or the door you use to open to get back into the same room. If one room has 10 doors, it does not matter which door you open. It matters that you don't get stuck at the door, but you walk through and go into that room. That room being that space of awe and wonderment where you reduce your sense of self-control and self-importance, and you realize everything is part of that oneness. The oneness is doing everything. The oneness is beautiful and amazing. Any entry point is what allows you to get back into there. But what most people have done is that they have made the entry point, the door, as a fixed destination. The door is not a destination. This is why we have the word Gurdwara. The Guru opens the door to somewhere further, somewhere deeper, a oneness, the complete totality. The Guru is the door. The Gurdwara is not the place to stay. The Gurdwara is the place to go in, to go through and connect even deeper, to lose yourself, to leave yourself at the door. Sometimes you see these signs outside, leave your shoes and your egos outside. So you must let go of some things and go deeper. Those people who are doing religion out of fear have not understood what is the purpose of this religion. What is it trying to do? They have distanced God from themselves. They have put God as somewhere far away. And they have said that God is the doer, the creator, the master, and I am the slave, and we are disconnected. And while that may be true in their experience, if they do not realize that the purpose is for them to connect internally with that divine, then there's always going to be a God that is separate from them. The God that is outside is also the same as the God that is inside. And you must go and find it within yourself. Gurbani specifically says, Bahar dhundat bahut dukh paave. Those who look for God on the outside will only find misery. Because within your own home, Amrit Kat Mahijiyo, within your own home, there is that divine nectar, that divine being, that divine entity is within you. So the spiritual rules now become ways for you to connect back. If left to your own devices, the ego comes back. We are in our state of our own self all the time. So we need the guide, the guidance the words of those ones who are enlightened to remind us all the time. We need that, and you'll notice that within yourself. It is not just a question of, wow, I think that God is here, or God is amazing, and always looking up to the sky and looking up to the stars and nature and saying, wow, you're amazing. If you're not able to do that within yourself, then you have not connected. You need the words of the enlightened masters that remind you that the one saying wow is also that divine being, that divine entity. It is in you and it is through you and it is around you. There is no distinction. And so because we're constantly in our state of me, we can't get out of this me without the guidance of something greater, a divine master, the Guru. So these rules of daily reading Gurbani are not really rules, they're gifts. They're gifts from the Guru that says every day, here, go back, go to the root, go to the original source of what you are. Everything that you think is a rule is really just a tool. It is not a rule, it is a gift. It is a reminder. It's all the things that reminds you to go back in. And if your religious practice is not reminding you to go back in, then it is superficial, then it is a waste of time. You are not doing what the Guru is asking you to do. You're simply reading things out without actually going in there. Gurbani says, Kya padiye, kya guniye, kya ved purana suniye. Pade sune kya hoye, jo sahaj na miliyo soye. Gurbani is asking you the question, what is the point of reading and hearing spiritual scriptures? What is the point of chanting them out loud if you do not find the tranquility that comes with it? What is the point? So there is no value in just reading if you're not learning the meaning of it and if you're not using it as a way to read yourself. Reading scripture is teaching you to read yourself. If you are not using it to read yourself, then you're just blindly reading. You're just blindly following the rules. So there is tremendous value in having access to this Guru, in practicing the traditions of the Guru, because the Guru has laid out the steps that you need in order to get to the destination. But you need to be aware of the destination, you need to be aware of the pitfalls, and then you will not see the Guru's tools, the Guru's gifts as burdens, but rather as gifts that are almost too good for us to even do. They are too much. So much Bani, so much praise, so much wonderment is too much to even take on. We cannot take on how much greatness that is included in these words. Remember, these are not just words. This is the divine oneness in writing. These are not even God's words. These are God in word format. This is not just some enlightened master. It is the divine being, the oneness itself, coming in the form of a man and explaining things in the form of words for you to understand. Look at the great gift of that oneness has given the Guru to this world, so that the world can be able to transcend its own ego. So these must not be seen as restrictions, but seen as gifts.